Hello everyone, welcome back with me on Band News Channel, your number one TV station, news and updates. As usual, in every episode, we talk about the latest and hot issue in Bursa Malaysia. So today, the issue that we're going to talk about is the announcement on the completion of acquisition by KLK Berhad of the ordinary shares in IJM Plantation Berhad.
Kuala Lumpur Kepong or KLK has offered to buy IJM Corp's 56.2% stake in IJM Plantations for 1.53 billion ringgit. That's 3 ringgit and 10 cent per share. In a filing with the bourse, it said the acquisition will require the approval of the shareholders of IJM Corp and KLK at an EGM to be convened by the respective companies. It will also require the consent from the lender of IJM Corp and IJM Plantations, as well as any other authorities or parties. IJM Corp said it has in principle agreed to the deal. Both IJM Plantations and KLK had yesterday requested for suspension of trading of their shares pending an announcement. The EdgeMarkets.com yesterday reported, quoting sources, that KLK would be making an offer to take over IJM Plantations, with shareholders of the latter to be given the option of either a cash offer or share swap. IJM Plantations was last traded at 2 ringgit 46 prior to the suspension, giving it a market value of 2.12 billion ringgit.
First of all, do you know what is the type of these two companies are? KLK Berhad and IJM Plantation Berhad are both companies that have core business in development of oil palm and rubber. Kuala Lumpur Kepong Berhad started as a plantation company in 1996 and listed on the main market of Bursa Malaysia Securities Berhad, and it is Malaysia's third largest oil palm producer. While IJM Plantation Berhad has been listed in Bursa Malaysia on 2003. Meaning of that, KLK Berhad acquisition IJM Plantation is one of the type of horizontal acquisition, which are both companies are in the same industry, which are plantation industry. As we all know, companies involved in a horizontal merger are normally companies that offer the same products and services and are at the same level of the production. For your information, RHB Investment Bank Berhad, which acted as the sole principal advisor to KLK, said the deal was the largest acquisition by value undertaken by KLK in its IPO in 1974 and was in line with its long-term plan of expanding its plantation business.
Mergers and acquisitions method used by Kuala Lumpur Kepong Berhad to acquire IJM Plantation Berhad is the acquisitions of stock by purchasing share held by IJM Corporation Berhad. Kuala Lumpur Kepong Berhad approached IJM Plantation shareholder for permissions to acquire IJM Corporation Berhad by offering to buy their share at 3 ringgit 10 cent per share. The two major shareholders of IJM Plantations are IJM Corporation Berhad and the Employees Provident Fund EPF Company. Based on the latest group annual report, Kuala Lumpur Kepong Berhad merged as the controlling shareholder of IJM Plantations when the former complete the acquisitions of 56.2% stake from IJM Corporation Berhad and 30.89% from EPF Company. Now, let's move on to the motive of merger and acquisition. Motive of mergers and acquisition is to expand its plantation business. Kuala Lumpur Kepong Berhad acquisition IJM Corporation Berhad is in line with the group's long-term strategy of expanding its plantation business. Kuala Lumpur Kepong Berhad has a total planted area of 223,964 hectares across Malaysia, Indonesia, and Liberia. Acquiring IJM Plantation, which has a planted area of 60,966 hectares across Malaysia and Indonesia, could expand Kuala Lumpur Kepong Berhad planted area by around 27%. Another motive for mergers and acquisition is to improve operating efficiency. Kuala Lumpur Kepong Berhad acquisitions to control IJM Corporation Berhad with the aim to improve operating efficiency by reducing their production costs. According to Kuala Lumpur Kepong Berhad Chief Executive Officer and Executive Director, Tan Sri Oihan said the acquisition is further strengthening the group's plantations business through better synergy across its value chains.
The process of acquisition of KLK Berhad with IJM Plantation happened between June until November 2021. The first step happened in June 2021 when KLK Berhad proposed to acquire 56.2% stake in the IJM Plantation held by IJM Corporation Berhad for Rm 1.53 billion cash or Rm 3 ringgit and 10 cents per share. The offer represented a premium of 31.36% over the last traded price of Rm 2 ringgit 36 cents share price of IJM Plantation on 8th June 2021. In making that offer, shareholder of IJM Plantation has to be given the option either can choose a cash offer or share swap. KLK Berhad then made subsequent mandatory general offer MGO up to Rm 1.2 billion for the remaining 43.8% or 385.71 million share. The offer document also stated that KLK intended to retain the listing status of IJM Plantation unless they and its associate end up holding in aggregate 90% or more of IJM Plantation issued shares. On 30th August 2021, KLK then had obligated to extend a mandatory general offer MGO again in order to acquire the remaining stake in IJM Plantation, and the notice was served on the board of IJM Plantations. On 11th September 2021, KLK Berhad emerged as the controlling shareholder of IJM Plantation Berhad after completed acquisition of 56.2% stake in the company from IJM Corporation Berhad for Rm 1.53 billion. Meanwhile, on 30th September 2021, minority of shareholders of IJM Plantation have been advised to accept the takeover offer by Kuala Lumpur Kepong Berhad for the rest of the share in the IJM Plantation for Rm 3 ringgit 10 cents per share. On 17th October, the Employees Provident Fund EPF company has sold its entire stake in the IJM Plantation in an amount of 109.67 million shares or 12.45% stake in the company to Kuala Lumpur Kepong Berhad. And lastly, as at 18th November 2021, Kuala Lumpur Kepong Berhad successfully hold a total of 839,345,538 shares, representing 95.32% of the total issued shares of IJM Plantations.
Kuala Lumpur Kepong Berhad's or KLK main business is the development of plantations such as oil palm and rubber. That's why they decided to buy shares in IJM Plantations Berhad or IJMP, both of which are in the same industry. So, the first benefit that KLK can derive from this case is that its shares grows in value after acquiring IJMP shares. Under these circumstances, IJMP agreed to sell its entire stake in subsidiary IJMP to KLK, and KLK now owns 839.35 million shares in IJMP, contributing for 95.32% of the former issued shares. KLK intends to invest in rising stock market because it usually coincides with growing economy. Following that, investor confidence in stocks lead to increased purchasing. Afterwards, it will increase the market capitalization of both companies. Even before the acquisition, KLK and IJMP had market capitalizations of 23.5 billion and 2.1 billion respectively. At the offer price of 3 ringgit 10 cents, IJMP's market capitalization has increased from 2.1 billion to 2.73 billion, while KLK's is 27.24 billion. Based on this, an acquirer of the two companies could position KLK as one of the leading players in the plantation sector, alongside STPL's market capitalizations of 30.3 billion and IOI Corporation's market capitalization of 25.3 billion. Large capitalization companies have a history of producing high quality goods and services, which will attract more investors with a good reputation. At last, can gain access to funds or valuable assets for the new development or production expansion. KLK will now have better production or distribution facilities, which are often less expensive to buy than to build. According to Tan Sri Oihan, Chief Executive Officer of KLK, the acquisition is in line with the group's long-term strategy of expanding its plantation business. Because they are familiar with the areas where IJMP's estates are located, it also provides benefits to IJMP by allowing the companies to pursue new opportunities. IJMP's fiscal year ended with the highest ever revenue and profit since its inception in 1985. To conclude, KLK has successfully secured 95.32% of IJMP's shares, and it is a balanced situation for both to maintain IJMP's equity interest. With larger IJMP shares, KLK has greater control over their shareholders, allowing them to make key business decisions and gain the expected benefits. Next, acquiring company may provide benefits by allowing it to gain more profits and reduce financial risk. For example, KLK can expand their planted area to continue their plantation business. As a result, KLK's net profit has increased, owing primarily to a fair value surplus at the considered disposal of an associate company. The deal will also help IJMP strengthen its balance sheets and take on large construction and infrastructure projects.
To be concluded, vast mergers and acquisition of KLK's acquisition of IJM Plantation, as it represented win-win for both parties, in which KLK Berhad can expand their plantation business, while IJM Plantation Berhad said it was in line with the strategic objective of the company and its subsidiaries to focus on construction, property management, infrastructure concessions, manufacturing, building materials, and quarrying. Well, I guess it's time to wrap up the show. As you can see, this issue is pretty controversial, but no worries, we will be updating this issue on this coming episodes. Join us next week on Bang News Channel. I'm your host Ayuni. Goodbye and see ya.